All right. Good evening, everyone. Dr.Staci Holweger here. I am so excited for our first ever Gen Z and Millennial Business Opportunity Zoom with LifeWave. And tonight I have the pleasure of introducing to you my son, Senior Presidential Director Trey Holweger, who is the youngest Senior Presidential Director in the entire company of LifeWave at age 19. And I'm excited that Trey is going to be sharing some information with you all this evening on how to build your business within that Gen Z and Millennial generation, within those generations, and what you can do if you are a Gen Z or Millennial on here, what you can do to build this business, but also if you are not, like myself and many of us, and we have people we know, we care, we love, that we want to share this with, to be able to hear this information and possibly look at LifeWave as a viable business for them in their age group, just as it has been for Trey. I will tell you, we do have a PowerPoint that Trey is going to share with you all. He has some talking points here that he wants to discuss, but this is definitely your time as well. And so we do want to answer questions. So if you have a question, please put that in the chat. We won't be unmuting just because we have several hundred people on here, but we definitely will want to answer those questions. So please put your questions in the chat. So right now I'm going to go ahead and screen share and we'll get started on this PowerPoint for you to be able to, Trey, if you can. And I should have let you screen share. Hang on one second, I'm going to have to do it like this for tonight, just because of me being the only admin right here on this. I need to let people in. All right, so Trey, I'm going to let you take it away. We've got some questions here for Gen Z entrepreneurs exploring that aspect of entrepreneurship. So Trey, can you talk to us about your personal motivation and vision? Like, this is obviously a picture of you on the Greek Isles cruise, a few months ago, 20th anniversary with LifeWave. What has inspired you to start your own business, and how does it align with your personal values?
Yeah, so what inspired me to start my own business was, mostly you, and just being brought up my whole life in network marketing and seeing the successes of others and wanting to do it for myself. So when I became 18, obviously I would do it. And it aligns greatly with my personal values because I'm allowed to meet a lot of people with the same health and wellness mindset and outlook on these products, wanting to better people and also better our wallets at the same time. So I think it aligns greatly with my personal values.
Okay, fantastic. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the market, customer insights here. How do you identify your target, your ideal customer in today's digital landscape? There's a lot going on out there. So how are you yourself personally, like, do you take time to write down like your avatar of your ideal customer, your avatar of your ideal brand partner, business partner that you want to work with? Or is this something that's just rolling around in your mind? Are you thinking about it when you're out there doing your different reach out methods? How does that work for you?
Yeah, I've kind of molded together what I think is the ideal target range of people just by looking in my analytics through social media and stuff, and who actually views the videos and who stays engaged with the videos. And a lot of people ask me about people my age, and I really don't solely market to or try to market to people my age, just because although my generation is chronically online, as we all know, they are not on the same sites that you would think. Like, my main sites are Facebook and YouTube, and I find a lot of older generation customers, and those are the ones who stay retained to videos, and those are the ones who you can actually convert into your business. So I really try to market to 45 or 50 plus for age, and that's like my greatest demographic. And also women would be about 70% of the demographic, just to put that in perspective as well. But yeah, only about 8% is going to be people in my generation. So it's not as lucrative as it sounds, but I think it may be on the rise for the next coming years. And that's definitely something I have to look for. because it's definitely harder to market to these kids my age. But with the new, technologies that David's coming out, I think it's going to be increasingly easier. So I'm looking forward to that.
So let me ask you a follow-up question to that. So you have built your business to the top level in this company by marketing to and bringing in brand partners that are building a business that are not in your age group. I know Punta Cana, you just signed up your first brand partner that is in your age group, of course. Your guest that we had no idea that he was going to want to join the team, right? But for someone that's your age right now, right, looking at this as a source of income, as a way to make a residual income, a passive income, you make money while you're sleeping, right, in this business. Can someone your age come in and do exactly what you've done, target market to that women, that 45 and older group online, and not have to worry about marketing to their own age group because you haven't marketed to your own age group? Can they be successful doing exactly what you've already done?
Yeah. What I'm seeing is this area that I'm in, this area of health and wellness, when you combine it with AI, when you combine it with social media, it's highly untapped. There's not many people in this space doing, what I'm doing. And so for someone my age to come in and, they could take it to a whole nother level and do it a lot better than I'm doing, I'm sure, because there's just so many innovations with AI now, which I'm trying my best to stay on the wave, but it's like, it really is crazy. And if you know how to market to people correctly on social media, I don't even know, like, yeah, they could well surpass what I'm doing for sure.
We're going to talk a little bit more about social media here now. So this is perfect segue. So how important is social media to your business, and which platforms do you prioritize? Which you did mention Facebook and YouTube, but how do you feel that someone could come in and, like you said, with AI, the technology now, be able to just dominate in this LifeWave business using these tools?
Yeah, I think one of the ways they could come in and dominate is through TikTok. I've tried with TikTok. TikTok is on the fence for me because they're very, very strict on the content you can post. But obviously, if you're going through their hoops, is the easiest way to go viral. And if someone knows how to navigate through their system correctly, they could definitely go parabolic with their business very quickly. But I think that would be for someone who's trying to market to kids my age, because around 70% of the people on TikTok are going to be in your teens or 20s. And something like YouTube or Facebook has the older generation. That's kind of what I like to focus on. That's what I've seen success with. But you have obviously Instagram, which is, your middle ground. And Instagram is great because you have like your automation. It has a lot of automation that Facebook does not, with your messaging and your DMs. So yeah, a lot of it's just untapped though. It's people aren't doing it yet, but I'm sure in the future it's going to be something that everyone's going to implement into their business, and it'd be really good.
I love that. That's really the thing, understanding that at your age and the Gen Z millennials who are online, right? You guys were pretty much raised online, most all of you. And so you have the ability to actually monetize on your strong suits, which are using this all the time. You can use this to make you money just by following some pretty darn simple steps to be able to target specific areas instead of just scrolling aimlessly or watching, Netflix series all day long. So let's pop on to our next question. Innovation and development here. How do you stay innovative in your approach to product delivery? So when we're looking at, you mentioned, staying on top of like AI, for example, where are you searching or what are you doing to try to make sure you are staying innovative? I know just last week or two, one of your AI programs was no longer functioning the way that it should for being able to take up, long form and make it to short form videos. So how are you staying innovative to stay up with what's working and what's not?
Yeah, so obviously David is, keeping a very innovative and cutting edge technology that he's coming out with. And so I'm looking at his new technology that he's released so far. Obviously, he has, or so he said, he has 10 years of products in the making or already made, and they're in the line to be released. And I'm trying to take what he's given us, and I want to see how can I market this differently on social media, because obviously the patches are marketed one way, and depending on which patch you're using, they're all marketed differently. And this new water system, it's going to be marketed completely differently. And also the demographics are going to be way more skewed. You're going to be able to hit the lows and you're going to be able to hit the highs because of how drastic this water is said to be. And I'm really looking at I'm surfing the webs every single day looking at new AI technology. So like you said, I've switched a few times in the past week on different ways to make shorts, just because that's how fast it's being integrated. That's how fast it's being improved, because it's such a new thing. It's only a couple of years old as AI. So yeah, new things every day. I'm just trying to see what David has in store and try to pivot off of that.
Savais-tu qu'il existe des moyens de faire de l'argent en ligne sans nécessairement quitter ton emploi? Pendant les 90 prochaines secondes, je vais te montrer exactement.
Awesome. I love it. I know every time I go on Instagram to learn. I don't post very much or do a lot, but I'm the same way. I love to learn. I'm constantly surfing. The people are out there sharing the content. They're sharing the information, how to build with AI, how to do hashtags, how to do social media. If you're interested, it's all there and it's free. It doesn't cost anything. That's what I love. You can watch a YouTube video, anything I've ever asked Trey to do. Hey, I need help with this. Can you do this? If he doesn't know it, he watches a YouTube video to figure it out that fast. And then he just does it. It's just, amazing with that age group. So let's talk about the financial strategy here in fundraising. So how did you fund your LifeWave business? And what advice would you give about financing options for people? Obviously, it didn't cost, the picture there. It's just a graphic from online. But how did you do that, Trey, being a 18-year-old?
Yeah, I funded my LifeWave business through I had a work previously, so I funded it that way. But people always, some people think that, the higher packs are, pretty costly. But when you actually look at how much you can make, and you look at different businesses, let's just say, for example, corporate America, say you want to buy a McDonald's franchise, you're going to be spending, maybe even $1 million, but for sure hundreds of thousands of dollars. And you can make returns of hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, which you can do the same in your LifeWave business for a fraction of the price. And let's just say, for example, you want to start up your own business. So you're an entrepreneur and you want to start a window cleaning business or a car cleaning business. What's your startup going to look like on that? You got to have all the equipment. You got to have vehicles. You may even have employees. So when you compare like real corporate America businesses that everyone and their brother is in, to actually be an owner, it's not even comparable. Something like $17.50 for a premium pack, even something as little as a core, you can get started with a core pack. No, it's a fraction of the price, and the returns are uncapped at this point. So yeah, I just like when you put it into perspective, it's a pretty easy decision that you're not wasting money at all. You're just setting yourself up very nicely.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. Let's talk a little bit about here sustainability. So how does sustainability and social impact factor into your business decisions? And I know you mentioned a minute ago that David has, just from this one invention coming, he has 10 years planned of inventions. When you interviewed him a few months ago, when you hit senior presidential director, he talked about that 10 years worth. So how do you see that for sustainability and impact in your business and in your decisions?
Well, being someone my age, I made it a really big point in my interview with him that I needed to know if there was going to be sustainability, because if I'm going to put all of my time and effort into something that may be gone in the future, I want to know if I can have a potential lifelong career in something like this. So that was a huge point for me. And his answer was like way more than enough what I needed. And yeah, so as far as sustainability goes, you just said it, 10 years of products. I mean, I don't need to hear any more than that. And it definitely impacted my business decisions because now I'm going a lot more into this. It's not something that could be gone in the next years. I know it's going to be here. I know it's going to be lucrative for the next 10 to 15 to 20, who knows really. But yeah, it's definitely changed my business decisions. I've definitely, started getting into it a lot heavier since we went over that in the past 6 months, really. So
fantastic. Thank you. All right, let's talk a little bit about work-life balance and mental health. So how do you maintain a work-life balance, especially as a young entrepreneur?
Well, when you implement what I've done, I think it's pretty easy to maintain that. I mean, I do all my work in the morning, and it's very quickly now because AI is just insane. So it cuts it down to a fraction of the time of how long you should actually be working. And the most of the work now is just talking with people already in the business and just trying to work with them. So I find it very easy to maintain a work-life balance.
That's fantastic. That's probably good to hear for people your age too. Networking and mentorship. So let's talk a little bit about how mentors or networks have helped you grow as an entrepreneur. I know your mentor was instrumental in this journey to senior presidential director. Let's talk a little bit about that because that's important for all people.
Yeah, mentors are huge, and I've always been someone that has wanted to have I've had a mentor in different things in my life with sports. I've had a mentor with school mentors, and so I kind of got into the mentors workspace. And I didn't know what to really expect, but it's great to have someone to bounce ideas off of and someone to recommend ideas to you and just to brainstorm with someone rather than your friends or family. It's a completely third-party source, completely unbiased source, and they're just there to help you. And no, it's helped me tremendously in this business, just understanding and listening to someone else rather than myself trying to figure out the answer.
And when did you hire a mentor in your LifeWave business?
It's probably been 7 or 8 months now.
Okay, so you were like a director?
Or a senior director, maybe.
Okay. And what made you decide to hire the mentor? Why did you pick the one you did?
Well, I got recommended to him through real estate. So I my friend who uses him as well recommended to me, and I thought that's a good time what better time to, try it out? Because I haven't tried it out with work. So listening to my friend, that's all.
Okay. Fantastic. And you feel like it's been beneficial?
For sure. Yeah.
All right, let's talk a little bit about challenges and resilience. So what are some of the biggest challenges you faced as a young entrepreneur, and how did you overcome them?
The biggest challenge that I faced is trying to be reputable as someone who's so young. I always think if I was 50 and there was a 19-year-old telling me what to do, I'd be like, man, what does he know? So I always try to outsource my content from doctors and just people in general that are very reputable. And so I seem to get a lot better response to that content. So I try to focus all my content on these big doctors and very smart inventors such as David and others. So people really believe what they do. And all I do is really just transfer the content from one place to the other and, slap a pretty picture on it. But the content's the same. And yeah, so that's my biggest challenge for sure.
Okay. And then finally, before we go to our Q&A, we're going to have about 10 minutes for Q&A, and we already have some questions in the chat, so I'll ask you those here in a second. But let's talk a little bit about the future trends. How do you see emerging technologies like AI that you've mentioned several times, blockchain or Web3? I don't even know what Web3 is. How do you see those things influencing your business?
So AI 100%, already is influencing my business, but it's something that's being built up every single day and being innovated every single day. So I don't even know what's to come with that, but I know it's always going to be used in business in the future. And as far as blockchain and Web3, I know, crypto's getting huge this past year, and well, really past 4 years, it's getting huge. But I don't, as far as being integrated into something like this business, I'm not sure on, but I know for sure AI will be integrated more, and social media is just, it's never going to go down. It's going to be here forever now. So
Stop using ChatGPT like everyone else and do this instead. To the men over 50 who don't know how to use AI.
Yeah, fantastic. And of course, we know David is doing so much with AI at the corporate level as well, too. We are right now working on finishing up an avatar program. Those of you that were at convention, you saw that avatar. Those of us that have been, our persona has been identified, that's coming. And so that's a tool that AI offers to be able to help the field to learn and to grow. So we have some questions here in the chat, Trey. So if there's a Gen Z influencer who has big following on TikTok, what would be your advice, or what would your target in content be for creating curiosity?
So the person who is the influencer on TikTok has a massive Gen Z following, or they are Gen Z themselves?
Gen Z influencer has a big following on TikTok, doesn't say. So maybe Beamy, you could elaborate on that, whether their following is their age group or whether it's older.
Well, yeah, so they can see their demographics. So depending on their demographic of people, that's how you're going to want to structure your content. But let's just say they're trying to structure content to Gen Z. I always say try to structure it towards something that would apply to someone my age. So how would it apply to sports? How would it apply to going to the gym? Any sort of physical activity, because people my age aren't looking. Yeah, okay. So she said their age. They're not looking for anti-aging at 20 years old. I mean, I'm just going to be honest. But they are looking for things to enhance them in the gym, things to enhance them at any sport that they may play, which a lot of kids my age do play sports, whether it's collegiate or just intramural in general. And I would try to go through patches that is going to help them that way. And in the future, in patches, just for example, maybe X49 and carnosine would be a good start. And in the future, the water and the powders is going to be great for going towards that. And that's actually been something I've been thinking about, is I'm going to try to target more Gen Z and people my age after the water and the powders are fully released, because that is a huge selling point. Whereas the patches, to them, they really, I mean, it's not a great attracting point at this time. But the water and the powders, I think, have a big upside when they actually fully release. I think that a lot of people my age are gonna like that way more than what they like the patches right now. But for right now, the patches, like things that have to do with working out and physical activity, is great.
And then, of course, Trey, I know you don't realize this because it's just not your world, but there are a group of young adults, let's say in their 20s and maybe even early 30s, that have health conditions. They have issues. They developed toxicities. You've been on your detox game since you were 2, because that was your life. You didn't know any different. But for over time, those toxicities compound, right? And with nutritional deficiencies and things like that, there are a group of people that do have health conditions and issues that you would never expect they should in their 20s. They should be young and youthful and vibrant. But unfortunately, we have that population. So how would you think the patches could help them today? And I know we're not going to get into product per se, but if you're thinking about that age group and they're like, wait, I do have health problems, I am interested, what's the point of starting the patches now to lay that foundation before the other things come that you were talking about?
Yeah. So if we're talking about people who are maybe in their mid to late 20s and maybe into their 30s, and they're looking at some medical conditions or some health problems, I think they can basically be grouped into the same thing as like a 40s or 50s group, because they're kind of all there. If they're looking at health problems, they're kind of all around the same area. So I would market it to them the exact same as someone I would who's 50, and that's kind of how I market all my stuff to people 50 plus. But really, if 25 to 50 is pretty similar. So I mean, I would try to try to market as like setting, like you said, setting a good foundation, because you start now. When you're 35, say you're 25, when you're 35, all of your health problems are gone, and now you're mitigating risk for your future. So it's like, you're not just trying to get rid of something, you're trying to prevent future things. Because if you have something now little and you're 25 and you already have some health problems, if you don't do anything now at 55, you don't want to see what it's going to look like.
Good point. Wow. All right. So Annie wants to know, what are some of the AI tools that you use? What are some of those?
Yeah. So for shorts, I like to use Spikes AI, which you can put that in the chat if you'd like. Spikes AI is really good, but just lately I found another kind of one, and I think it's a lot better. It's called Opus Clip, which I can type it in there. That's the one I like to currently use, Opus Clip. It's like, is the quickest and most effective shorts method that I've seen online. And another thing for just content development, which everyone knows about this, it's Chat GPT. Asking an AI that has knowledge from everywhere in the internet, pretty easy to come up with some nice content ideas and maybe some potential promotions for your team. So yeah, Opus Clip is it.
Wonderful. Thank you. All right. Someone is asking if you offer one-to-one training on how exactly you go about using social media to promote your business.
I do not currently. I don't, if a lot of people want to know, me share my screen and just go over it, I can definitely do that, because it wouldn't take very long. I don't think it's very hard, but not just seeing a new website, you obviously are going to be pretty foreign to the idea. But if I had a 5-minute video, I could show everyone exactly how to do it very easily. So yeah, we could make a video like that for sure.
Well, and I think too, what we can do, Trey, because we'll be back on here in 2 weeks, that could be something that we could even dive a little deeper into if that's what the field is looking for, diving a little deeper into having you screen share, showing what you're using, what you're doing, what that looks like, and how, because you can teach an old dog new tricks. Mama has a Chat GPT account. I've had one here for a year now. How do you think I created this PowerPoint and all the other ones I've done today, right? I just type in things in Chat GPT and I say, make me a PowerPoint. Now change the colors, make it pretty, and it does it. So we can definitely do that on a future Zoom if that's something you guys feel like you would want. Okay, would love to know how Trey uses AI with LifeWave. I know nothing, so that was obviously just covered there. Once you have interest from a person you don't know online, what do you do to bring them to a close? Once you have that interest, what do you do?
Yeah, so obviously if you're putting out a bunch of stuff on social media, you're going to have tons of interest. And so this is how it usually goes. People are going to ask you questions. And so simply put, you answer all their questions. And from there, a good place to go is get them on a 3-way call, get them on a Zoom. And if that's not something you do, I'm sure someone in your upline, that is something they do, and they'd be happy to help you with something like that. But after answering all their questions, yeah, I would say it's pretty simple. You try to get them into, somewhere where you can talk instead of just text over the phone, because texting is not the greatest area to close someone to be a brand partner. But on a Zoom, it's very, very easy. So I would say answer their questions. Try to get them on something. If you don't do it, your upline should. So.
Perfect.
We've been lied to. This is the worst I've ever seen it. This is a place where people are so angry, so frustrated,
Okay, so how often do you put pictures of yourself in LifeWave patches in your post?
Not often. It's a pretty new thing for me, but because I've always tried to not post a lot, but I don't have a problem with posting now. So, it'll probably be something that's going to happen a lot now. I mean, the more the merrier for me. I don't mind it at all. And marketing is getting pretty easy. So it's definitely, it's definitely something that I'll be doing in the future.
I think you guys, there's 2 different types of kids on social media. There's the kid on social media that's doing all the dances. all the latest trends, all the things. They've got all the things going on, all the moving parts. And then you have Trey. And that is not Trey. Trey is not your kid doing all the trends and the latest dances and all the selfies, 500. Now there may be 5,000 selfies on his phone, but they're not hitting social media. Okay. Or if they are, I'm not seeing them, and I'm on his Instagram and Facebook. So they're not things. That's not how he has built his business. He's primarily done this through YouTube and using that YouTube. And then of course, taking that over to the Facebook and stories and Instagram stories has how that's happened. So through the video is how he has exposed people. Okay. The YouTube reaches anyone and everyone on the planet. I mean, obviously I have social media. He has, social media, Facebook and Instagram, but the YouTube allows you to expose anyone, anywhere. It's my YouTube channel. The video, the content is on Dr.Staci for the YouTube. Okay. And I love what Annie said. Blockchain will be huge for establishing decentralized medicine, evidence-based proof of work. Thank you for sharing that, Annie. Love that.
And I like that too, because crypto is definitely, a good ploy on the banking system. And I think we may even see like some crypto in our pay portal, some ways to get it out in the future. Because I think that, that's the next big thing.
Yeah. I love it. And of course, Caitlin, as I just said, he posts the short videos on Facebook stories and Instagram stories, sometimes reels, but mostly just stories. Okay. And again, I'm not that creative person either. Like, I'm not the one doing the latest trends in the videos and dancing and all the things. You're not going to see that kind of content on any of my social media. That's just not me either. So you can be that person. You totally can if you are. Right. I see some of these younger people and they're posting all the videos and they're doing all the dances and they're walking all the ways and all the things. And I look at it and I'm like, yeah, no, I don't want to do that. So if you don't want to do it, don't do it. You don't have to. You can still be successful doing it the way that you want to. Right. Trey, they want to know, do you talk to athletes like Mark Phelps or Zenzai?
No, I have not talked to many athletes. Okay. It's just like I said, my demographic that I've been going for is 50 plus. So there's not there's not tons of athletes at 50 plus still going, but I'm sure I got a few ex-athletes for sure.
Yeah, of course, plenty of ex. And of course, we all just saw Mike Tyson the other day, right? And he held his own. So the recording for this will be placed in the Team Evolve Telegram channel, as well as the Team Evolve page, and as well as my personal team page as well too. So we are excited for you guys that are deciding to build your LifeWave business. And of course, we look forward to being able to help you grow your business with this Gen Z and Millennial. We will be back here again on the 1st and the 3rd of every month. So if you have topics, if you have questions, if you have things that you would like Trey to address, we definitely want to keep this content geared towards that. So please send me a message on Facebook or Instagram. Send Trey a message on Facebook or Instagram and let us know, hey, could you cover this in your next Zoom? And we'll make sure we get that added in. Okay. And Trey does have his own social media channels, but like I said, that he's not been the poster on that, right? So any last closing words before we wrap up for this evening, Trey?
No, I think I'm all good.
Okay. Short, simple, and sweet and to the point. I love it. All right, you guys. Thank you for being here this evening. I appreciate all of you, and I look forward to seeing you on a Zoom again soon.